Hello and welcome to the Keto Man's Club podcast.
We're glad you're here, where each week we talk about men's health and lifestyle.
We do so with the foundation of the ketogenic diet and lifestyle.
If you don't know what keto is, stick around and you'll find out.
The podcast will bring you real, honest fun.
Each week we strive to uncover the tips and tricks that you can use in your everyday life to maximize your overall health.
Find the clearest path to becoming the best version of yourself that you were meant to be.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Keto Man's Club podcast. My name is Chris. I'm one of your hosts, and today I'm only joined by Jim and Alberto. And that's because this week is a little bit of a special week. This is more or less our 1-year anniversary of the podcast. We released episode 52 last week, and that's really exciting. How's it going, Jim?
It is good, sir. It's very good. I'm excited for the 1 year down. I think we're getting our groove finally, don't you?
Yeah, more or less. I would certainly hope by now we would have. That's for sure. Alberto, what's new with you?
Well, I was having a great day till you said you're only being joined by Jim and Alberto.
In the exclusion of everybody else less cool than us.
Well, it's been a day. It's been a day. We'll get into that later, but it's been a day. Everything is good. You know, I had a long drive, made it home, beat the heavy storms that are coming through right now. So,
yep.
Well.
If this gets disconnected for any reason, not that our listeners would know, but that would be because I lost power, and that happened earlier today, and so hopefully I won't lose power again. But we shall see. I am recording this on a laptop on purpose since, batteries. So that should help. And that should help. So let's talk about some of the goings on with the club and life and everything. I'm just for our listeners. We normally are recording and posting like weeks in advance. And I made the decision while we were setting up that we're just probably going to post this the same week, like here in a day or two. So this is actually being recorded on the, let's see, I'm going to calendar up, the 27th. And so the 27th of May. So we are actually in semi-real time for this. So what's been going on? I think we're almost ready to hit 3,500, right?
We are just a handful away from 3,500. And in fact, there are a number of guys that have applied to join that I haven't scrubbed. If all of them were entered right now, then we would be over 3,500. So yeah, pretty stinking awesome.
Yeah, very cool. And so we continue to grow. The beginners group hit 400. We're
over 400 in there as well. Yeah.
Yeah. That's and that's only been going for a few months now. So for being a relatively new group and very specialized, I believe that's showing good growth there, and get new people applying to it every day. So that's really cool. So let's kind of dive into more of this, Jim. From your perspective, what are you most excited for right now?
Well, one of the things that's kind of put a smile on my face multiple times today is that every Wednesday we try and do a Welcome Wednesday post. Facebook has an algorithm that allows you to pull in the newest members from a certain time period. So I try to do this every Wednesday, and actually got up early this morning and did it early rather than at 8:45 before our recording on Wednesday night. And so I don't know if it was the timing of it or I don't know what, but we had 4 continents represented in our newest member Welcome Wednesday post today. We have hit North America, we have hit Europe, we have hit Africa, and we have hit Australia. We're missing Asia, Antarctica, and South America. If you're listening, join the club. I don't care. Just do it. Just do it. We want to get all 7 continents in. I don't know what you can eat keto in Antarctica. I love penguins, so we don't want to do anything to them. And penguins may be in the north, and I don't even know. But for right now, we're just going to roll with it. So, but that is amazing to me that 3 years ago, when this group was just a handful of guys, and kind of just, hey, we don't want to ask what you eat at Starbucks, and this, that, and the other, to go to truly an international Facebook group. Had a guy put something up today from a group that he's in that's completely unrelated to keto, but somebody was talking about some mental health issues and said he just got attacked in this group. I'm like, no, that's not what this is all about. And this gentleman, commented about how grateful he was for the Keto Man's Club and the safety that he feels, the trust that he feels, and things like that. So we've just been humbled. We being myself, the admins, the moderators, everybody, about how this thing has just evolved and grown. And yeah, I mean, 4 continents, boys, probably 5 if we really dug around and looked to see. I don't know if I've ever seen South America in our group. In Antarctica, if a penguin signs up, great. But otherwise, yeah, I don't know that that's going to happen. So that's my smile on my face today about things.
That's pretty cool. Alberto, how about you? What's been your impression on things? And we'll do some shout outs here in a bit too, to shout out people like we normally do. But what's kind of gotten you going lately?
Work is picking up full steam. And, obviously everything's slowed down a little bit and everybody's been a little extra cautious, but, it's ramping up and it's ramping up quick. And I'm getting phone calls every day about where I got to go for the next couple of days, which hasn't happened in a while. And, that's always a good sign. Just another little piece of normalcy that you can just kind of rely on, waking up. And then after 8 o'clock hits, your phone exploding with people complaining about problems you got to go fix. So,
yeah.
But, it's what I do. And, today, I train automotive painters, and then I also paint cars for my company whenever the need arises. And then today we had what we call a demo, where we take our paint into a competitive body shop and show what he can do. And today was quite the humbling experience, because if it could go wrong, it went wrong. And it went south fast, and it went south. So, it just got to the point where it just ended up becoming a rescue mission, because I was like, okay, we're not showing anything off here, but let me at least see if I can muddle my way through this so that we don't have to redo this job again.
Yeah.
But, it happens. Nothing is always perfect, much like everything else we try to do in life. And like I always say, I work in the collision industry, so, my entire job is based on somebody's day not going as planned.
Yeah.
So I was just honest with the painter. I said, look, this did not go as planned. This is how it should have worked. This is how it worked in my head. Once we started painting this car, it didn't work out. I go, this is a completely unacceptable paint job, but at least let me see if I can muddle my way through it. We can get through it, and then, kind of just see where it goes from there. So I don't have high hopes of gaining this account, but you can't win them all. Yeah. But what are you going to do? It's like I said, very rarely do things go as planned. It's a bump in the road. It can go for a lot of things that we do here with our lives and in our health. And we just, just keep your head down, keep grinding. And it sounds like he's going to give us another chance, because I think this one went so laughably wrong that he's pretty much convinced that there's no way the paint can be this bad.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, the gyms are open again. Started going back to the gym. So that's been fun. Weightlifting is hard. I kind of forgot.
Yes,
but
yes,
I did go back for a strictly deadlift day, and I was still able to deadlift 405. So that was good. It felt good. I didn't know if I was gonna be able to do it. It's been a very long time. I believe 10, 11 weeks since I last deadlifted.
Yeah.
So to be able to go in there and you just hear the stories in all the groups. I'm in a lot of fitness groups. Everybody's starting to go back to the gym, and their strength numbers are down, and it's normal. It's to be expected. I've been here before, but I went in there with one purpose, and I had a plan on how I was going to do it. I was going to go in there, do a really long warm up, and just start deadlifting. And as it felt comfortable, I was going to go up 90 pounds, a plate on each side every time, up 90 pounds, up 90 pounds. And my whole goal was to hit 405, and I hit 405 once. I cleaned up all the weights, cleaned up all the plates, put them all away, and went home. Yep. And it was a good day. Yep.
Very good. Yeah. Did you notice that you just said strength number?
I did not. It has gone down in pounds. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. That is the running joke. Strength number goes down in pounds.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, So, for me, I am, glad to see some normalcy starting to return to life right now, keto wise. I've had my ups and downs as far as, eating on plan, but I think we all have those at different times for the most part. And I've not seen many negative effects from those at this point. It just kind of is what it is. So, trying to stay more on plan, stay more in a habit. Part of that really is just that my schedule has been absolutely crazy with switching jobs at work, and had a couple weeks of training schedule, and now I'm on a new schedule where I'm working evenings, and I hate that part, but it is what it is. So yeah, it's kind of been a roller coaster for the last few weeks, and it's starting to feel a little more normal. So that's good, and that's helping for sure. Let's see here. What else can we talk about? Oh, we have a Discord. And as long as...
Is that how it's pronounced?
Discord, yeah. Discord.
I was saying it wrong this whole time in my head.
So as long as...
Were you saying that chord?
So as long as Jim gets in it and signs off on it here in the next day or two, then by the time this goes out on Friday, which is my plan, and for those that are listening, I'm sorry, my schedule keeps changing, and because of that, the release date has been all over the place. I'm set until like August. So at this point, Friday is probably going to be release day for a while, at least, depending on where we are and what my new schedule ends up being and whatnot. But yeah, so when we release this on Friday, we'll post the links out to the group and make sure that everybody can get into it. There is, and I will post a video to the group with a screen recording, should I be able to get my computer back up and running, showing how to do this. But you do have to agree to the rules of the Discord, and that's how you gain access to everything else. It's really actually very simple, but not everybody has been seeing the pinned post, and I think I fixed that. But at this point, you get put automatically into the welcome bin channel on the Discord group, and once you get onto that channel, you'll see the rules, and at the bottom it says, if you agree to these terms, type, and it's $agree, all one thing, no space or anything. That gives the bot that mines the Discord group, it gives it permission to give you the rights to see everything else. So it's really simple to set up once you get going. And again, as long as I have it set up properly, which I believe I do. So that's going to be an exciting thing. The purpose behind that, at least from my perspective, and Jim, you can talk more about it too, but from my perspective, the Discord group is more like an ongoing chat with different topics to chat about. So it's got an off topic, it's got food, it's got workouts and things like that. So you get like different threads of conversation that all should, relatively speaking, hold within that theme. And then you have the ability to do private chat. There's audio chat, there's video chat. So it's got some really cool aspects to it. And then it's a nice backup just in case. Third
don't
party,
tell me, don't go. Oh, okay.
Yeah, third parties. I'm not naming names or anything, but third parties decide that they want to control what content is out there on the internet. This is unless you're doing like stuff that is like really bad and you don't want on the internet, they don't moderate it much. So this is kind of a nice way that we can moderate ourselves and all of that. So yeah, the Discord group, it's invite only, so you'll have to click on the link to be able to get there and all of that. So it really is designed to just be an extension of the Facebook groups. I'm thinking that it's going to be open to both beginners and non-beginners, because there's going to be a beginner's question channel, so we can kind of intermingle there a little bit without too much noise, because we can have Q&A type things over in their own little channel, their own thread. So Jim, what's your thought on all that?
Well, I just signed in
Okay.
and getting acclimated here. I know you've done a good job of keeping on me for this, and I apologize for not getting it done. So I'm gonna have to learn what's going on here, um, because I got to take it all in. But I completely agree, and we kind of talked about this as the moderators and admins of the groups of, heaven forbid that something were to happen to the book of the faith that says, we're doing something and whatever, then we've got to have a backup plan for 4,000 guys in the two groups to find a second home. So, yes, I'm excited to get in here. I'm hoping it's as simple as programming a VCR in 1985.
Well, you followed the rules and you got your initial role. I'm going to give you an admin role right now, but you you did
it's
good
just
so
happening
far.
like right in front of me, Chris. This is
Yes.
kind of wow. Internet. It's a fun thing.
Yes,
when it
is.
works, it's awesome.
Yes, when it works.
Yes.
That's the
Wait, don't give away the secret. Everybody still thinks we're recording in the same room.
Stop touching me.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, yeah, well, let's dive in on this, and then we will regroup in a week or so when we get everybody a little bit more acclimated and keep pushing it through.
Sure.
This is awesome, man. Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think this is going to be a great way for guys to further connect. I really like the that it does have the ability to do video chat, audio chat rooms, things like that. It's kind of got everything built in, and it's really easy to set that up both as a user and as an admin. So and it's also able to be moderated and controlled too. So that's a nice thing for sure. And I am now officially friends with Jim Inman.
Life, man, internet, it's awesome.
So
it is awesome.
So absolutely. So Discord is going to be a great resource for our members and a nice addition. We'll end up. We will probably put a link to the Discord in the show notes from now on, so that people that listen that they can apply. Now they've got to agree to the rules. Let me read the rules real quick. Let me get them up here real quick. They mirror our Facebook groups for those who don't know, but it is a man's club, so sorry, no ladies. In fact, I copied and pasted most of these and just kind of edited. You're welcome to invite other men to join. They will need to be familiar with keto and must agree to these guidelines. Keep off-topic conversations the off-topic channel, just to make sure that we're trying to keep the threads clean. Please be respectful and encouraging to one another. Motivation can be done in positive manners. Belittling does not work. I agree with that. That's a direct quote from Jim's writing of our Facebook rules, because I there's not really a better way of saying that. And then that's pretty much it. So it's going to be a real cool thing for us to continue to see and see ways that we can grow and learn as a group for sure. Okay, Alberto, you've joined the Discord, so you've been in there. We've had a few admins and a few beta testers to try to help me with this, and but it's not overly used quite yet. So there's a few threads of conversation. When you sign in, there is a whole thing for the US. I need to expand that to be able to at least say Europe and Asia and some other continents for people to be able to say where they're from, but that way we can have some local organizational, hey, let's get together conversations. That's kind of why I went with the states.
Nice.
Yeah. Look at you.
Yeah. So I had to manually create 50 separate states.
It's almost like we've been talking about this for a long time.
Maybe.
Right.
Possibly.
I don't see Starbucks though.
There is not Starbucks. No, that should go straight into off topic right there.
Straight into here is the door.
Although I will say, I forget who it was. Somebody introduced me to a nitro cold brew at Starbucks. Mm-hmm. Somebody put it up in the Facebook group, and that's become my go-to if and when I stop at the Bucks of the Star.
Yeah, it's a nice go-to. That's my go-to for them, because it's hard to make that be really too terribly bad unless they throw in a ton of their cream. which they often do. So it's so I either get it straight or I just tell them a splash of cream, and that usually helps to make sure that it's not overwhelming. But it's a good go-to for sure. So let's do. I will have to find mine.
While you're looking for yours, I want to throw one thing out real quick,
Okay, sure.
since we're talking about communication methods and everything. So this is not a shout out, but a thank you. We repeatedly see guys requesting to join the Keto Man's Club on Facebook because of seeing something on Reddit. And I don't know enough about Reddit to be smart or anything with it. I know there's this like subreddit thing going on. Again, I sound like my grandfather trying to explain stuff or all that. But if you are listening and you're on Reddit and you've given us a shout out there, hey, thank you very much, because it is working. People are coming to find us on Facebook in both the Keto Man's Club and TKMC Beginners. So, with the Discord, it's going to be a new way to engage and connect. But Reddit, whoever's out there doing it, hey, I appreciate it, as do the rest of the moderators and admins. So thank you. Since this is kind of a love fest show.
Yeah, well, why not?
No, why not? I'll carry on with that love fest.
Okay.
And I'll start the shout outs.
Stop touching me, Alberto. Seriously.
You actually stunned me there. I had nothing to say. But okay. So my shout out is actually to my better half, my better looking half, Yvette. School is pretty much officially over. So to all the parents out there that had no choice but to homeschool their children, you did it. I mean, you did it. That's amazing. She clearly was never her intention to be a homeschool teacher, but she took it on, and day after day after day of getting these kids up and keeping them on track, keeping them on schedule, and making them sure they get their homework done, and making sure they're attending all their Zoom meetings. And tomorrow they decorated the van, and one of Samara's favorite teachers is retiring, so they're going to do like a drive-by thing.
Very cool.
So the van's all decorated up, and they're going to hop in the van and go do that, say goodbye to one of her favorite teachers, and I mean, she's put work in, and it's a lot of parents have out there in these strange times. And my shout out goes to all of them, and especially my lovely wife.
Absolutely. Well, my shout out right now is I'm going to steal it from you guys before you can get it. We had some really great contributions to the Transformation Tuesday thread yesterday in the beginners group. In the beginners group of all places. So we've got some great, some guys showing amazing results, and they're still getting started with their journey. They still have a ways to go, as we all do, but they're doing awesome. You've got Jim Gebhardt, you've got David Schmidt, we've got Yogi, and some of the other admins are contributing there. Tony Gambiano, Steve Ackerman, really, really excellent progress in those. And that's all just so inspiring. I know we saw very similar in the main group as well. But shout out to all of them for just continuing to plug away and making it work, making it work for themselves.
Well, Chris stole my thunder, but I'm going to allow it because he did all the Discord stuff, so it's all good. But I have I think I have 6 tabs open up here for guys just to quick shout out. There's in the main group, Brady Adams, he went from 350 to 206. Doesn't even look like the same guy. Chris mentioned Mark Silberg. I don't even know what his numbers are, but it's totally different. Jim Gebhardt, fantastic transformation. Steve Ackerman, amazing. Gary Michael went from 286 to 218. I don't know if he went 28 to 34 is what he wrote in the post, 28 years old to 34. I don't think it took him 6 years. I think the picture is 6 years old versus now kind of thing. Yeah. But I mean, just night and day. It's like this week in the groups, there's just been these awesome pictures and stories and everything. So shout out to everybody, basically.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And the other thing that I've been noticing in the keto community, but especially in our group, is that I think we're coming, more of us at least, are starting to come out of our COVID funks. And we're like, screw this. If this is going to go on for forever, that's okay. I'm not going to let that stop me. And so they're getting after it. If they have a gym, they do. If they don't, they don't. But they're getting work done. They're getting after it. They're getting out of a little bit of that funk that I think we've all felt on some level. And I'm encouraged to see that, and I'm encouraged to believe that we're seeing some awesome lives changed, even in this time where we're having to be physically distant from each other and having to be very careful, and whatnot. So that's been really good. There's a lot of social things that we won't go into because it's just completely off topic, but it's kind of trying times right now in all areas. And so it would be totally understandable for a lot of us to react negatively to stressful situations. And some of us have, including myself. But it's not, it's not how you get there. It's really pushing forward and continuing to go towards what you're aiming for. And for me, it's health. And if I lose some weight along the way, that's awesome. And I know that's kind of the mantra around here anyway, is it's all about health.
Absolutely. And have you guys noticed the cooking that's been coming out of the group lately? Like, it is getting serious in there. The just the meals in general, and the smoking, and the smoking of meats, I should clarify.
Yes. Well,
and we don't judge. We don't judge.
Well, and I think that's one of the other aspects of people are just getting tired of waiting for something to happen. So they're like, okay, I'm going to take this in my own hands. I'm tired of the simple food. I need good stuff. Let's learn how to do it. Let's make it. Let's do whatever we need to do.
In the last 2 months, I perfected my brisket game. So I mean, I would say so.
That brisket that you posted the other day, oh my gosh.
Even if you got to stomp it into the smoker to make it fit.
Yeah, you kind of had to shove that thing in. It was almost too big.
Okay, so for those that, I did post pictures of it, but for the obviously people that are listening have no idea what we're talking about, I'll give you the quick rundown. My last emergency brisket that was in my deep freezer. I've been wanting brisket for a while. Obviously it's in the deep freezer, takes a while to thaw out. Didn't think nothing of it. Just I went in there to grab it, and I'm trying to pull it out of the freezer, and I'm like, man, this thing is just stuck. Like, what's it stuck on? It wasn't stuck on anything. It was just heavy. You know, I pull it out. It says 17 pounds. Didn't think nothing of it. Throw it in the fridge, thaw it out. Pull it out of the fridge, and I go to put it on the counter. And I'm like, man, this thing is heavy. Didn't think nothing of it. Still 17 pounds. So I trim it off. I only probably trimmed a pound or two off of it. And I have a little itty bitty GMG, Green Mountain Grill Davy Crockett. Like, they're the smallest pellet smoker you can get. And I'd fit 15, 16, 17 pound briskets in there. You know, no problem. It's a tight squeeze, but they fit in there well. So I get this thing all trimmed out, get it all seasoned up, letting it rest on the counter. That thing, my little smoker is warming up, doing its thing. And I took it off the counter, put it in the tray. When I put it in the tray, I was like, oh boy. And that's when it hit me that it was labeled as 17 pounds, but this thing had to be probably, if I had to guess, probably like 21, 22 pounds after I trimmed it.
Oh my gosh.
So I drag it out to my little itty bitty smoker. And mind you, if you don't know what a Green Mountain Grill Davy Crockett is, it's literally a tailgate model pellet smoker that comes with a cigarette lighter for your vehicle, so you could literally cook anywhere. And this thing, I mean, you might be able to get 6 or 7 hamburger patties on it because that's just how small it is. And so as I go out there with my gigantic brisket to go stuff it in there, I realized that this brisket is entirely way too big. And I kid you not, I had to literally shoehorn that thing in there to the point where the lid wouldn't close. And when I finally shoved it in there, it was clogging up the little exhaust port, the chimney stack. So I was in there just pretty much massaging this thing into shape. And I finally got the lid to close and just went for it. You know, I did my usual trick of setting it real low, 190, and let it run all night for 12 hours. I checked it in the morning, and it honestly didn't really shrink that much because, you know, typically a 17-pounder, you squeeze it in there, but after it shrinks, it fits in there fine. This thing didn't. Like, I had trouble getting it out. So pulled it out, wrapped it up, shoved it back in there. Still took another, I think, 5 or 6 hours to reach temperature. And then, I mean, I think all said and done, that thing was probably about 17 pounds after being fully cooked. And it came out hands down the best brisket I've done so far. So It's a hilarious picture if you haven't seen what a shoehorned brisket looks like. But the end result was definitely well worth it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was.
It was a meat accordion shoved into a suitcase. That's what it was.
Yep. Yeah, it was pretty shoved in there from the pictures that we saw, but it's not how you get there. Kind of like I was saying before, it's not how you get there. It's about the end results. So,
well, if we're going to talk about brisket, I need to make a clarification from our buddy Greg Bevington, who was on the show several weeks back, who apparently in a recent episode of the Keto Man's Club podcast, I made a joking reference about microwaving brisket, to which he posted into the group a very graphic vomiting image, and I'm like, no. But yeah, there's like men with torches and flames coming knocking on my door because I said this. And Greg, buddy, you don't get a shout out for it because we're not doing that. Number one. Number two, I am not advocating by a long shot to microwave any brisket or anything like that. So, yeah, let's just clarify that now since we're getting this done as quickly as possible. And no shout out for Greg. And if you've listened to the episodes, you know what I'm talking about. So it's all in love, but no shout out to Greg Bevington.
I could just imagine you pop a brisket in the microwave. You're like 17 hours started.
That's a good way to kill a microwave, right? That's a good way to kill a microwave.
Throw some Reynolds wrap in there, see what happens.
Oh, Lord. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, gosh. Wow. Well, speaking of episodes, not to shift gears a little bit, but with this being like kind of our 1 year episode, we're coming up on 30,000 downloads as well.
Are we? I haven't even looked.
Well, I know we're over 25. So to me, it's kind of like when you get to 40, then you're not quite 50, but you're definitely closer to 40. So I'm thinking we're going to stick with that over 25. So we're right almost to 30,000 downloads. Yeah. So in a year's time, that's pretty remarkable.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, for something that started off as an idea and kind of like, let's just kind of see where it goes. I mean, yeah, that's pretty awesome when you think of it that way. This wasn't some master plan of attack we had here. As much as it sounds like we know what we're doing every single week, we just kind of went for it and said, let's kind of see what it turns into. Hey, as I like to quote gangster rap because they make the best quotes. Sometimes opportunity to gain is all you have to lose.
Very smart.
You like that one, don't you? Yeah. See,
I stunned you now. Yeah, I'm looking at our Simplecast dashboard. 27,000 plus downloads of the show in a year's time. So that's amazing. That is amazing.
Yep,
and
really
we've had so many guys that have come through and told stories about themselves that probably were a little bit challenging for them to do, not because of a trusting or anything, but just the fact that this kind of does give an opportunity to bare your soul a little bit and talk about personal challenges that you've had and whatnot. And the positive response we've received, our guests have received, make it worthwhile every day.
Yep, it's been a fantastic opportunity to connect and really every week the stories that we hear from the men from the group, from outside the group that come and join us for the podcast, for the couple ladies that have come on and shared a little bit of their story and their perspective on their in Mandy's case and in her perspective of the journey that her husband has been on. It's been really, really cool to see that for those that it works for, keto really is kind of this magic pill for a lot of people. And it's a way of eating that is changing lives. And to be able to be a very small part of that ketogenic family and contribute to others hearing about, and maybe some of them just completely turning their lives around because of something that someone's that we had on or something that we said, that just even the possibility of that to me is just humbling and exciting and just all around makes me want to continue doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you know, it's sticking to what we originally started with. I mean, if you were to break it down, the statistics to the people that we've talked to, like quote unquote professional influencers versus the average dude. You know, when we started out, the whole goal was average Joe keto. That's what we wanted. That's what we wanted to catch, and
Yep.
and we've done a really really good job of that, I believe, so far too.
Yeah, and the other thing that I think that we've done very intentionally, even with the professional keto people, is we started with them saying we want you, who you are, not your online personality. We want to hear your story, and you know, what is it that has driven you? How did you get here? All of that type of stuff. And so from people like Robert Sykes and Danny Vega and whatnot, it's been really cool to hear their story, like their actual story, not their message, not those, you know, it even with them, we have uncovered, we knew this already, but we've uncovered for others that they are average Joes too. They have maybe they have more expertise, maybe they have ketogenic products or services, but that doesn't make them any less likely to be normal men being men. They just happen to be ketogenic, and sometimes they would probably say, unfortunately, they're in front of a whole bunch of people as an influencer in that regard. And sometimes there are days whenever I do not at all envy what the ketogenic influencing community has to deal with. I'll leave it at that because it can get ugly sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we kind of have our own little bubble, and we're making impact, and we're influencing the way that we are, but we're not.
And some of us are irresponsibly influencing. So like, let's not forget that.
Yes. Well.
But as you were quickly mentioning something that we actually never talked about, like we had the platform for it, and I just completely forgot.
Mm-hmm.
But I've snuck up and surpassed 2 years med free.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
we
had talked about talking about it, and we never quite talked about it. And then that one episode where we were supposed to talk about it, like by the time it like clicked in my head, I'm like, well, I would just be awkwardly forcing this into the conversation in there, and, you know. So, but yeah, no, it happened. 2 years med free. 2 years and probably 3 weeks right about now. But that was, you know, when this whole first thing started for me, the first goal was a year, and then it was like, okay, well, I did it for a year. Now, if I could do it for 2, you know, that's my quote unquote proving it.
Yeah.
And I've had a couple scares and maybe one incident where I should have probably, in hindsight, seeked a little bit of medical professional help. But I kind of, on the flip side of that, I mean, I'm not talking anything terrible. Don't get me wrong here, but I kind of want to see if I could work my way out of it.
Yeah.
And I was having some weird gut issues, and I just buckled down and stuck to carnivore and took actually a lot of the advice of a lot of the people that we talked to in our podcast as far as you know, just natural remedies to try. And you know, nothing ever got really bad, and I was keeping a very close eye on my symptoms, but I was able to work my way out of it and get everything like firing on all cylinders again. So I mean, it's a direct outcome of the people that we talk to and the stories that we hear.
Yep, absolutely. And that's a really cool thing, because, you know, we're average Joes too. That's, I think, one of the fun things about this is that we're not us three, you know, we all have our platforms, we all have our spheres of influence that we came to the table with, largely the Keto Men's Club, but we're not out here, you know, we're taking the advice that we learn just as much as our listeners are. We're learning along the way, just like our listeners are. And that's the funnest part about all of this, is getting to learn from others and getting to hear their experiences and getting to meet people like Itchy Dan, who have completely changed their life by going carnivore and all of these different things that it just, we wouldn't have I wouldn't have ever met these people in any serious way without this ability to get to sit down and chat with them on a almost weekly basis. It's we get ahead a little bit every now and again. We get some weeks off, which is kind of nice.
It makes it interesting. Yeah.
Yep. So
I'm kind of proud also. I'm going to throw this into, and it's going to be a little bit of a dig, but I don't care because I'm going to do it anyway. We've had some characters in our group in the past who are no longer members of the group, and I am grateful for the guys who have stuck with it and maintained the integrity of what we all want the group to be. There's very minimal very minimal policing of any activity in the group or anything like that. I mean, we've had guys bare their souls and bare their skin. We talked about the one example of the dude who, hallelujah for the towel placement. We'll just leave it at
that. Yep. Expert level towel placement.
It absolutely was.
Mm-hmm.
But, a couple of years back, there were guys who thought that they could do what we have done in terms of making the group and all this other stuff. I'm like, that's fine. You go crazy. You do whatever you want to do. And there are some groups on Facebook for guys that do keto, but there's 40 people, 50 people, whatever. That's fine. We got 3,500 in one. We got 400 plus in another. I'm not worried about it. We are taking the lead on this niche, and it has been phenomenal. So, all you haters out there, peace out.
Yeah.
Just sharing the love there, since we're just bearing our souls on the 1 year anniversary show.
Why not?
Yeah. We've definitely had some characters, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And what policing has needed to be done in the Facebook group, it pretty much gets done by our members.
Right.
Our admins very rarely have to step in. There's a lot of times when we go, hey, wait, let's just see what happens. And the poster that posted whatever it was, they usually very politely get eaten alive by our members. And, some of them, they're like, oh, I don't want any more of this. And so they'll either shut up or they'll just go away. And either is a acceptable method. If you don't want to be here, you don't have to be, that type of thing.
We are voluntary.
Yeah, it is voluntary. Yeah, absolutely. So it is cool to get to see that aspect, because I've had the opportunities before to be admin of Discord groups, Facebook groups, all sorts of different things. And some groups, they end up having to approve every post and all of this junk.
Sweet.
And no, I don't have energy for that. I don't have time for that. And our group just doesn't need that. It really doesn't need that. And that's such a cool thing to see and get to experience and get to see the camaraderie that had been built around this group of men who are challenging and encouraging and mostly building each other up. Every now and again, there's a dig against someone, and that's usually when things get stepped in on and whatnot. But it's very rare that happens. Very rare. So let's kind of shift our eyes a little bit to the future. We are in final planning stages for TKMC shirt number 2. Do we want to talk about that?
Yeah.
Since we have a design, we like the design. At this point, we just need to post and set up our online platform or whatever we're going to use to sell it. Right?
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's ready to rock. Yeah, we're going to go with steaks over shakes.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we've got.
And we kept like I said, we kept it very simple, very clean.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing too complicated. And we were able to throw a little TKMC logo in there, and that was kind of like my whole thing. Is I just wanted to create a simple image that would make someone like ask you like, well, what's this all about? What does that mean? It started a conversation.
Yep.
And I think we were able to pull it off in hopefully as few colors as possible to keep the cost down.
Yeah.
And a very, very simple, very clean, very understandable image.
Yeah, it's really cool looking. It's going to be 3 colors on gray, I believe, is what we decided on, right?
Yep.
White, black, and red on gray. So it should be a really good opportunity. So if you are hearing this, hopefully in the next, within about a week of hearing this, we'll have something up, at least promoting it, getting you ready for it. But I would expect, I'm just going to go ahead and plan on doing it. We'll start it up on June 1st, and we'll give it 14 days for pre-sales. Let's just go ahead and say it. That will, and Anthony will deal with all the logistics of the getting the materials and printing and all that stuff, and get it done as quickly as possible. But we need to get the pre-sale ball rolling, so we can just go ahead and start that on June 1st, and that will go for 14 days. We might extend it a little bit past that just to make sure that we catch everybody, but we don't want people coming back to us 2 months from now, going, "Hey, wait, I didn't get that one. Why'd I get it while it's hot?" Don't miss out on it. For sure. That's these are to keep things simple. We are intentionally making these limited runs for now. We still own the and have access to the prints for the shirt number 1, and we'll own all of these. But that's kind of a big process, I'm sure, for Anthony to do, because he's just kind of run this out of his garage. So he doesn't have a big old huge operation to be able to switch up shirts and print them on demand and all. So at least not for us. So.
And keep in mind, those that are hearing this, and if you did not participate in the first round, it's not a like you order online and you're going to get instant delivery, so to speak. What we'll do is collect all of the orders, all of the funds and everything, and then we'll submit the order for the t-shirt production, and then we will send them all out at the same time. Yep. So it's not, I say that with the understanding that Father's Day is in June. And if somebody's listening and thinking, oh, my dad would love that or whatever, probably won't be able to get it for Father's Day. So just giving you the preview. Yeah. So
you can tell them that they ordered it, that you ordered it for them.
Yeah.
But it's not going to come. It will probably, it all depends on how quickly Anthony is able to get them actually printed and everything like that. Once we get the pre-order completed, but we'll aim for 2 weeks of pre-order, make sure everybody can get in there, have a payday or two in the mix. And then at that point we'll be able to get that order to Anthony, and he'll get them turned around as quickly as possible. And I know the system on actually how the proper way to ship them this time. So hopefully we won't have returns like we did the last time.
Again, thanks to Anthony. That was all his suggestions on how a better way to ship them. And he does have a website. I was just looking it up. It's actually Crooked Kings with K, Crooked Kings, all K's, crookedkings.com. And I mean, check it out. I mean, he's got some really his own style.
Yeah, he's got some great styles going. I actually just got the confirmation email. As much as no, I'm not even going to go there. I ordered something from him. I'll say it that way.
I'm eyeballing a shirt right now, and I was like, I already have too many T-shirts. This shirt's just screaming my name. It's let's just say it's titled FK Average. And I'm like, I like that.
That's totally you. That's totally you. That's totally you. I could see you wearing that to the gym for sure. So yeah, it's been cool. So that's one thing to look forward to in the month of June. That we'll get that ball completely rolling. The background prepping of the ball has been going on for a month or two now. So it's time to start it rolling. But what else is going on? I don't even know. What other things do we need to talk about in the future?
I record for KetoCon on Saturday morning.
That's right. That will be
fun. As much as everything went sideways with KetoCon, I mean, there's some things you can't control. So I don't know if there's something you really out of your control. I really try not to get too upset about it, because it wasn't upsetting, absolutely, but I got over it quick. What are you gonna do? It was just so much that could be done on your personal part. But I would say one upside was I was scheduled to be on the fitness panel with a bunch of people who are like much better at fitness than me. But obviously the panel didn't happen, so they decided to do individual presentations, and I got offered the opportunity to just do an individual presentation. So, trying to look at the bright side of this, it's almost like now I have a free warm up for next year.
Absolutely.
In the comfort of my own home, and just with me and a laptop, and then I get to talk for a little while and kind of share my experiences and my stories as just an average dude, as we do things. And so I'm kind of looking forward to it. I just got to. Nice thing is, for what I'm doing, like all the information's in my head. I just got to jot down notes to kind of get me going, and it'll just be like a one-man show. So it'll it should be interesting. It should be real fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So is this a video interview? Is it audio? What's the format? Any idea?
It's going to be video, and it's not so much an interview as much as just me talking. Which, I mean, if it was an interview, I think it would be easier, just because you get a question prompt and then you can kind of respond to it and go on for a while. But so this one's just going to be 100% me talking. There'll be no back and forth, and then they're planning on releasing these things. Actually, I'm not entirely sure when, but I get to submit mine. I know Gormy recorded and submitted his today, I believe, and then mine will go Saturday, and then I would imagine June, when it was all scheduled to go down, is when they'll start releasing these things.
That's the idea. They kind of did a mini version of this 2-3 weeks ago, where they released and made public all of the KetoCon 2019, I think, talks on their website, and they kind of released them day by day, so that people could kind of watch them as if it was the day that they were attending. And so that was probably their soft, let's try this out type thing. And I think it worked pretty well. It's my understanding from my conversations with Robin that it is going to be the weekend that KetoCon was originally scheduled, that they will release a day at a time the conversations or the I hate the word talks, but the presentations of the different people that they're going to have present. And so that's going to be a really cool thing to get to see. And anyone that got a ticket for the original KetoCon 2020 that is now deferred to 2021, they can get all of these this year. This isn't so that the presentations that are being filmed and presented this year, they are for the virtual KetoCon for 2020, and anyone who has a ticket for 2021, they get access to it, and that's all the people that are going to get access to it. It is not going public immediately. I'm sure that it will go public eventually, but it is not going to be public immediately from what I was hearing. So for those of us who have tickets, we will get access, and that's a really cool thing. So what else is coming up? I it's kind of it's weird to say it, but the truth is that we're kind of in a weird spot where there's a lot of things on hold, but at the same time there's a lot of opportunity in front of us too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like I said, I was doing the zero workout program. This is going to be a fascinating 5 minutes, so bear with me, guys. So when all this started going down, the gym's closed. I tweaked my macros, again following Keto Savage macro calculator. And I went to what was, when I entered all my information in, it was what they recommended for maintenance, which was actually a deficit, which I knew was a deficit for me because it was less than I was eating. But I'm like, you know what? I don't want to gain fat if I don't have to. We don't have the gym around. So we'll see what we can do. So basically, as a personal experiment, I specifically pulled the extra calories from protein, which is a cardinal sin by some. But I did it. Kept my fat at 245 grams, where it's been for a while. Dropped my protein to the lowest I've ever had it at 145 grams, which is still adequate protein. It's just low for me. Mm-hmm. And so no gym. I bought Athlete Nexus Zero program, which is 100% no equipment body weight. Never really did anything like this. Is a little bit uncomfortable and definitely out of my wheelhouse as far as, as Aaron Overstreet says, you're a power lifter. I don't care what you say. So to kind of switch gears and go strictly to body weight was definitely something different. I mean, turns out this program actually fixed a lot of my imbalances, fixed a lot of the aches and pains I've had, fixed both of my bad shoulders, which was just overused from lifting heavy for so long. So I mean, I really can't complain. Another shout out to Zach Williams for bringing this to my attention and finally posting about it enough to where I'm like, all right, if you're posting about this and you really like it, like there's something here, I'll buy in. So I did. So here's where it gets interesting. I knew I was at a deficit. I was 180 pounds when I started. I was losing roughly just under a pound a week until I bottomed out about 175. And mind you, we're talking about a 5-pound total here. So there's a million ways we can write this off and explain it. But for the way this went down, it was very interesting and went down very, very smooth from 180 to 175. This whole time I'm doing strictly body weight work on my garage floor. Hit 175. Macros have been steady the whole time. Once I bottomed out at 175, I started gaining weight again. And I started getting leaner. So I went from 175 and just as slowly started creeping back up. No spikes in my weight. If there was big spikes, I would be able to probably write it off a little easier as whatever. But it was very, very consistent. There was no spikes in my weight. Not only did I get stronger in the workouts and get leaner, my weight climbed back up to 179. So now I'm 1 pound off of where I started. My belt is on a tighter notch, and I am visibly leaner than I was. It's a 6-week program, so 6 weeks ago. And all this by reducing my macros and cutting my protein down to the lowest I've ever had it consistently. So like I really don't have an explanation for it other than, obviously I do very, very well with the higher fat and the Keto Savage macros. And I'm sure if I were to talk to Robert about this, he'd be like, yeah, that's how it works. to experience it firsthand. And now I'm weighing myself probably every 3 or 4 days. And I'm consistently at 179 pounds, like without failure. It's just really, really fascinating to experience firsthand.
Very cool. That's a program that obviously it's working, and it's very needed in this time where a lot of people are without gyms and things like that. So it's really cool to hear a story that it's working and working well.
And Jim, so I have to ask, when did Texas open up their gyms? Because Indiana has not yet.
Last Monday, which would have been...
So the week before Memorial Day?
Yeah.
The 18th.
Okay. So my gym is opening up this coming Monday, June 1st. That's the first time we're allowed to go. So Orange Theory has, if people aren't familiar, it's stations at treadmills, rowing machines, and free weights. And our gym has a total of 36 spots. They're going to reduce it down to 18. So everybody's working at every other location. Mm-hmm. They've taken the hour-long classes and shrunk them down to 45 minutes so that they can do the social distancing, do the appropriate cleaning between classes, those mm-hmm. kinds of things. So I am thrilled because sadly and admittedly, I've done nothing pretty much over the last 2 months physically. A lot of that has been with work. I have been deemed an essential employee. I am not digging ditches. I'm not on a roof in 90-degree heat 7 days a week or anything like that. But I've also worked 5, 6, 7 days a week and trying to be mentally up and everything. If you can do it for a while, but sometimes you're just like, screw it. I'm going home and taking a nap before I go to bed. So I am highly looking forward to getting back into a gym. And I don't think we're going to have to do masks as class attendees, but I think the instructors are. So we'll see how it goes. It's hopefully an easing from that situation into something a little bit less stringent and so on and so on. So I'm just ready to move a little bit.
Yeah, and for those that haven't had their gym open yet, and I will admit, Crunch is a spotless palace before this all started, yes. So I had absolutely no issues and no question about whether I was going to go back when they open. But they're doing it. They have to do it right, but they're doing it right. They can't force you to wear a mask because heavy breathing and masks and bad things can possibly happen. But they actually set up a Nest camera that aims at the front door because they have to limit capacity.
Mm-hmm.
So they encourage you, like, if you're going to come in, log on to this website, check the camera. It's on a minute delay. Like, if you see a line of people waiting to get in, maybe reschedule your time, or come up with a different plan. So I thought that was cool. When you show up, they zap your forehead. You gotta walk in. You gotta immediately sanitize your hands. They zap your forehead to make sure you don't have a fever, and then you got to scan in twice. You scan in to say that you were there, and you scan in that starts a counter that's connected to a big screen right behind you that has the number of people in the gym, and the background lights up like a stoplight depending on how close they are to capacity. So if the big screen is green and it says 19, they're nowhere near capacity. Then as the number goes up, it switches to yellow, I believe, and I'm assuming red when they're at capacity. Half of they closed, they're pretty much taped off half of the treadmills, so you can only work out on every other one. The machines that they were real close together, they couldn't move. They put up barriers. All the classes got moved outside to allow for more space, and they rearranged the majority of the equipment that wasn't already 6 feet away from each other. In between their indoor classroom now has half of some of the equipment in there, and then rearrange some of the stuff outside so you can stay away from each other. And there is 6-foot markers on the floor everywhere. A ton of hand sanitizing stations. A ton of sanitizing stations in general to spray down your equipment. They're encouraging you to spray it down before you get on. You use your equipment, bench, whatever. Spray it down, sanitize, wipe it down. Do what you got to do. And when you're done, sanitize everything again before you put it away. And so far, everybody's been doing it. It hasn't been very busy in there at all. But the camaraderie's still there. It was nice to see old faces, and everybody's playing along by the rules and getting their workouts in, and it's overall, under the circumstances, a very, very well run and positive experience.
Yep, absolutely. I've been doing Kung Fu, but I haven't been super consistent with it. I just tested actually tonight to the next belt, and so that's kind of cool. It's been nice to be able to do that remote, but it looks like with my schedule, I'm actually going to end up continuing classes, but doing so in the morning on site in the class at the school. And so that will be an interesting change and whatnot. They are requesting and honestly requiring, because the city of Austin is requiring it, to wear masks inside. But they are being very intentional with our programming to make sure that we're not doing anything too excessively intense that it would cause. We're not doing crazy cardio or anything like that. So it's mainly learning forms and learning the different. I almost said instruments. Learning the different different weapons and things like that. So it'll be interesting to do. We are doing outdoor Saturday workouts in the morning, and so I probably will get my butt out of bed and go hit that up on Saturday morning and do that before work, and it'll be good. I was almost going to actually put my membership on hold because I was kind of concerned about the scheduling, but it's going to work out. So that's a good thing. And that's the limited way that I've been able to keep busy. But yeah, it's been good. So we've got a lot of great stuff to look forward to going forward. We've got our the Discord, we've got the continued growth in the Facebook groups. Just to wrap us up, or to start wrapping up, is there any other things that we need to hit on before we shut down for the night?
I think that the admins have some things that we want to work on for the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's just me and I just need to have people tell me, no, Jim, that's not going to happen. I don't know. But yeah, there's some stuff that I want to definitely discuss with the powers that be. We've had some great interaction through the show, through the group, with, as you guys mentioned, leaders in this world. We've had Carrie Brown on the program. We've had Yogi Parker. They've joined forces and do all kinds of great stuff. Jonathan Shane. We've had Mike Gorman, who hosts the Fat Guy Forum and is just phenomenal in so many different ways. So, seeing what happens for the next year of the podcast and year 4 of the Keto Man's Club. Yeah, I mean, we want to keep reaching out and making an impact. So I think some things could happen. Did I say calendar? What?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll just slide that in there. So that's my hope, is that we do something for 2020, some kind of takeaway that's a tangible item. The t-shirts are great. I'm not knocking that at all, but something else, just, I don't know. We'll just have to work and see what we can come up with.
Yep.
So, yep. That's what I got.
Very cool. Berto, any other parting shots?
No, man, just, keep doing what we're doing, and hopefully we get, many more years to come out of this and still get to talk to many more people and just get more stories out there, and, just enjoy the ride and learn from every experience. And just, as I like to say, never settle.
Yep. I will echo that as well. I think we've got some great things coming up for us, and the group is going to just continue to push forward and push forward and push forward. So that's a cool thing. Okay, so as our, so that we don't ramble all night, let's go ahead,
because we can.
Because we
certainly could.
That's why the three of us became the hosts together. We'll always have something to talk about. So without going too much further, let's go ahead and shut things down for the night. It's I should have, and I did not. I should have prepped a drink so that we could, toast to one, the 1 year celebration, and toast to the second, and many more, hopefully. Got lots of great things in store as we've talked about, and exciting times all around for everybody involved, and that's just a cool thing. We will revisit this type of thing in 6 months to a year from now, and I think that we'll see that our growth will just be exponential on top of where we are. Anyway, that's it for this week. Until next week, make sure to eat meat, lift heavy, sleep, and repeat. Thank you for joining us for the Keto Man's Club podcast. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Would you help us spread the word about the Keto Man's Club by sharing with your friends and family? We're available on all podcast platforms, so just search for Keto Man's Club and you'll find us. If you would like to connect with us, you can do so a number of ways. Our web address leads to our Facebook group, theketomansclub.com. That's TheKetoMansClub.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at Keto Man's Club Podcast. Lastly, if you have any comments or questions, feel free to reach out via email to KetoMansClubPodcast@gmail.com. Thank you again for joining us today, and we look forward to hanging out with you again next week.